There is something so beautiful to be felt in these days, something untouchable, invisible, but with such grace it softens my inside. I'm looking around and I can't grasp all of the beauty, a synthesis of miscellaneous words, feelings, people, melodies, dreams, just letting my mind rest, heal, and flourish. Nostalgia, but in a good way. Nothing changed, yet everything did. Such power in the everyday, in the known, in the constant efforts, in the things that are always there. Makes me feel a deeply rooted connection that I'm here and all is good. And all will be good. It's a promise. My heart is filled with heavenly inspiration and desire to adorn the empty with the new, and to find my way as I move along. Hello, everybody! How are you doing? I hope you're amazing. I hope you're doing fantastic. It's a wonderful day today. The sun is shining and I feel so happy. Okay, this is too light. Let's go back to the corner. So I feel very happy. I'm sensing the spring is just around the corner. And I've noticed that lately I've been very inspired by creation, and my artistic endeavors feel more meaningful to me right now. I feel like lately, because of photography class, I have been pursuing more photography than my drawings. My drawings kind of went a little, like I pushed them back a little bit because of photography. Drawing and painting is a little closer to my heart's desire than photography. I do feel quite sad that I'm not enrolled in a class anymore, and I want to enroll myself in a class from September, but until that point, I would like to also practice. I had noticed that I was a bit scared of starting my daily sketches and my daily practicing because I feared the result. I combined it with my perfectionism and my blockage. Now that I don't go to a course and I don't have anyone to teach me, it's a little bit harder for me. And so I thought, maybe I should just buy myself some courses online. And I've always been interested in the idea of portrait drawing. So I decided maybe I should buy some portrait drawing courses. Every day I can do a little bit of a portrait sketching practice. And it shouldn't be like hours and hours. It could just be 30 minutes a day, 1 page of your sketchbook. This is actually my sketchbook. It's quite large. And I did some portraits before I bought the courses. You know, there's a lot of room for improvement there. I just did what I would have done without having watched any lessons of courses online, and this is what kind of came out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like this idea of weird colors for a face, you know? I like pink hair and blue shades and stuff. I was so frustrated when I did this page. I was really frustrated because I was like, it's so ugly, blah, 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 blah. And then I felt the pressure that came with the result-driven approach again, and I wrote, you know, through you I learned, because I meant the mistakes that I make right now. That through the mistakes I learned, but if I didn't even do it, I wouldn't make mistakes, so I wouldn't learn anything. That was like a coping mechanism. This is the charcoal approach. I found random references from Pinterest, and I did what I remembered from art class, what I thought would be, you know, the way to do it. I think that's my favorite one because it looks a little bit cuter. This one kind of reminds me of a giraffe because the neck is so long. And, you know, this one is also different. This one, like, the eyes are too big, I think. Anyways, it's fine. This is what I did.
You know I won't waste time. You know I can be the last for you. It might be overrated. I just want you to know about the truth. The truth if I can hide. I cannot hide from you. 'Cause you're my favorite part. The part for best I choose. But why? And now look at me, where can I go on? Should I be running without any fear? No one's gonna know that I disappear. I've been up with all this on this. I love Fuck the shit it had.
I'm just sitting here on my desk and I'm trying to do my first portrait drawings according to the course I found online. The first initial day is about kind of doing the outline and squinting your eyes and looking at the image as if you were squinting all the time, so you can only see the shapes basically, and placing some kind of guidelines where the nose could be, where the eyes could be, like roughly sketch it out. It's 4 different ones, so it's just the outlines, this and this, here and here. Okay, it's interesting. Second day in, and today we're drawing the rest of the portraits. I just finished watching the rest of the course, and the teacher kind of said that, you know, today we're putting in the details, the eyes, everything, then the shading, and then it's basically done. I'm just gonna put some music on to make it fun. I did my first trial off camera because camera makes me nervous. Makes no sense. Let's check it out. Okay, this is my first trial. And this is my reference picture. It's the one from yesterday. As you can see, I like to make these lines and I just like to smudge them. I try to do it with my hands, but it's not that easy. I think having a smudger is definitely good, even for the hair. Sometimes it's nice. This is my reference, beautiful girl. And if you see my picture, which is, it doesn't have a lot of likeness, unfortunately. I feel like I drew her older looking than she actually is. And she also looks quite sad. Anyways, it's fine. I am trying to move, but I'm stuck. My hands are tied. The air is oppressive. Please take my hand. Force me out of this. Don't leave me alone. So many notions, so many flashing getaways, but I remain seated. I saw myself holding the keys to my freedom, but then nothing. It faded into thin air. Never would have thought that such poetically fierce urges can be tamed in the cruelest of manners. Did they even have a chance? Or were they born to be killed and never see the light of days? I could call the storyline my most loyal of companions. I have learned to sleep next to cluelessly, despite its leaking poison. Although it's nothing new, this time it's so profound, making me realize that it remained the same, but I have not. Still, it can melt my cool away in seconds, persuading me that my mind is not my friend. I feel like the playground of thousands of backstabbers doing what they're best at. The peaceful home I once used to live in is in flames, and although I'm shattered, I stand there and do nothing about it. What have I turned into? I miss those days when I was dancing freely through the water and air with the lightest of steps, almost touching the ground, but never once did so. Back when the ordinary made me feel extraordinary, back when the light was shining through me limitlessly. I have lost myself to the coming and going waves hitting the shore, wondering which side I'm even on. Is the ending to the story the one I've cried about countless times before, or am I holding a different book in my hand? Maybe I should just pack my things and leave, let the undefined more freely into their destined shapes, and allow fate to make me say goodbye to this ghost town I've outgrown a long time now. And then I stopped. My creative fears and blockages sort of creep back in. I stopped doing any sort of creative things. I started feeling avoidant again towards any creative activity. And initially I was very puzzled by it all, and I was thinking, why is this happening to me all of a sudden? And maybe I was really in denial. I tried to push through them in a very, now looking back, in a kind of very unkind and negative way towards myself. But then, I took a moment and I tried to break it down, And I realized, that I've been a block creative for almost my entire life. And creative blockages can occur for so many different reasons. It's unique to everyone. Usually it happens at a tender age. And for me personally, my creative blockage doesn't allow me to explore, have fun, make mistakes. It just creates this gigantic pressure on me that I have to be very good at art. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to do it. This is also where the problem lies, because if I cannot explore and if I cannot make mistakes and play and have fun, then I'm never gonna improve. Like, it's a vicious cycle. How am I supposed to create amazing art if I don't do mistakes and if I don't do all that crappy, lousy work in order to become that? I was extra disappointed this time because I didn't know that I would have to deal with blockages again. I thought that from now on it's gonna be easier and easier, but apparently there is gonna be things happening that are gonna trigger this reappearance. And that's why I also wrote the poem. The poem basically explains how I feel about this creative blockage, and it's a dialogue between me and the creative blockage, or how it makes me feel, or maybe it's a monologue, I don't even know. I wanted to make this video. It was important to me because I thought I can't not talk about this. Initially, I wanted to make completely different videos, but then this happened. Like, I had such desire to create, and then all of a sudden I felt kind of avoidant and distant towards this again, even towards video creation. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to speak about this because this is something that is accurate and real. I think creation is an innate part of the human presence in whatever way. It doesn't only have to be art and fine art. It can just be anything, Especially in the world of technology, we're kind of brainwashed to believe that we're meant to use our phones all the time and saturate ourselves with ready-made content. We're so over-brainwashed and overstimulated that it's really hard to free up a room in our head to create and to feel bored and to say, hey, let's do this. Anyways, I'm just saying that we're all meant to create and we're creative beings. Yes. Creative blockages are a funny thing, that can mess with your brain and your ability to enjoy something. Once broken down, you realize they're just thoughts you can also choose to ignore. Why do I have to be great at something anyways? I think art and creation have this magical ability to just heal you, ground you, make you feel amazing, regardless of the outcome. It is where the journey is the only arrival. The process is what matters most, and ultimately it's the most fun. I'm struggling to let myself be a lousy artist and explore just for the hell of it. But at least I've realized that although the patterns of my artistic blockages have stayed the same, I have not. I can now see through them, which is a beautiful first step to take. Life consists of phases of calm waters alternated with rippling waters and sometimes even stormy waves, letting you feel happy and sad turmoils. I understood that these transitions can trigger the reappearance of my creative avoidance, but I've also realized that if I could only create in times of calm, serenity, and stableness, I wouldn't make use of art's most profound characteristic, that it's alleviating, it helps you heal and deal with these sticky, uncomfy, overwhelmingly positive, but also tricky emotions that are just part of the human experience. Maybe I should try to make these shifting events in my life, but also the really strong emotions, feelings, either happy or sad, the fuel for my artistic expression, rather than seeing them as obstacles. But that's just a thought I have been having recently. I find myself on this journey of coming out of the everlasting false misconceptions that have been shaping my way of thinking for so many years. I know it will take time, many steps forward and some steps back to let this narrative go. It's a process, and I'm okay with that. I know that the creative forces are always going to be stronger and prevail in the end. So I'm thinking, let's be more generous and gentler with ourselves then, right?